Welcome back with a new lesson on the EASYNOMICS. Today we are going to learn the law of demand. As you know, it's very important law in the economics. Whole economics is based upon law of demand and law of supply. Being an economics learner, you should know about these two laws, that is law of demand and law of supply. Or we can say whenever we talk about law of demand, it comes under consumer behavior. In this we study about the behavior of the consumer. So simplifying the things, law of demand states that there is a relationship between quantity demanded and its price. Quantity demand and price of a commodity, it has relationship. It expresses an inverse relationship between price and demand. The law states that when price increases, demand decreases. Apart from that, the law refers to the direction in which quantity demand change with the change in the. Whenever we should study the law of demand, we should know the assumptions upon which law of demand is based. The first assumption is no change in tastes and preferences of a consumer. The consumer should not change his tastes and preferences. If he will change the tastes and preferences, then accordingly law of demand will not be applicable. Then we have the constant income. It means that income of a consumer remains constant. There is no change in the income. If there is change in the income, then obviously law of demand doesn't apply. Then third assumption is no change in customs. जो customs होते हैं उनमें कोई change नहीं होती है. That's why law of demand will be applicable. If there is change in the customs, then it will not be applicable. Then there should be no substitutes. If there are substitutes available for the consumer, there will be no effect of change in price on his demand. In the same manner, there is another assumption, that's no change in quality of a product. There should be no change in the quality of the product. If we change the quality of the product, if we will make product more innovative, if we will make the product more qualitative, then obviously consumer can pay high prices and their law of demand cannot be applicable. Then another very important thing is the habits should remain unchanged. There should be no change in the habits and tastes of the consumers. If consumers will change the habits and the tastes, then obviously it will affect the law of demand. Because if you change your habits, then you can buy more of a product. You don't care for the price at which price the product is being sold. So it's very important assumption so far the law of demand is concerned. Let's see the graphic representation of the law of demand. First of all, we should take a look at the demand schedule. Here you can see the price and demand. Here you can see it, when the price is rupees 5, demand is 100, and when price was reduced to rupees 4, demand was 200. Further, the price is being reduced to 3, and here demand is 300. When price is 1, demand is 500. So let's take a look at the demand curve. Here you can see when the price was 5, quantity demand was 100. 100 units were being bought by the consumer. When the prices fell to rupees 4, the consumer bought 200 units. In the same way, when the price was reduced to rupees 1, the consumer bought 500 units. For example, हम यहाँ पे और एक डिमांड कर्व बनाएंगे. जैसे कि जो प्राइस था पहले 10 रुपीज़ था, देन 20 हो गया, देन वो 30 हो गया. जो हमारी डिमांड थी पहले, ठीक है, 30 रुपीज़ पे हम खरीदते थे 20 यूनिट्स ऑफ ए पर्टिकुलर, लाइक 20 kgs ऑफ ऑनियन. जब ऑनियन का प्राइस 20 हो गया तो हमने अनियंस को, ठीक है, 30 kgs किया. इन द सेम वे जब 10 रुपये हो गया, 10 रुपीज़ हो गया, तो वी जस्ट चेंज इट और हमने 40 किया. तो सिंपली यहाँ पे बन गया हमारे पास एक कर्व जिसको हम बोलते हैं डिमांड कर्व. तो व्हाट एक्चुअली डिमांड कर्व शोड अस, इसने हमें क्या दिखाया? इट शोड अस दैट व्हेन प्राइस ऑफ ए particular commodity falls, the consumer buys more of the commodity. Here, like, जब प्राइस जो होता है, जब वो फॉल हो जाता है तो इसकी डिमांड जो होती है प्रोडक्ट की वो बढ़ जाती है. एंड व्हेन एवर द प्राइस इज बीइंग इंक्रीज, जब प्राइस इंक्रीज होता है तो जो डिमांड होती है हमारी वो डिक्रीज होती है. इट इज़ द सिंपल लॉ वी स्टेट्स दैट देयर इज इनवर्स रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन प्राइस एंड डिमांड. Why demand curve slopes downwards? There are certain causes. The first important cause is law of diminishing marginal utility. This is very important law that we will study separately. But here you can see whenever the demand curve slopes downwards, Here, law of diminishing marginal utility is being applied. According to this law, when a consumer buys more of a commodity, the marginal utility of that commodity continues to decline. That's why when consumer buys more unit of a commodity, जब इसका प्राइस कम हो जाएगा तभी वो ज़्यादा बाय करेगा, अदरवाइज ही विल नॉट बाय मोर ऑफ अ कमोडिटी बिकॉज लॉ ऑफ डिमिनिशिंग मार्जिनल यूटिलिटी इज बीइंग अप्लाइड. Second one is price effect. It's also very important, you know. It's very important cause which shifts demand curve downwards. Every commodity has certain consumers, okay, but when its price falls, new consumers start consuming it. So as a result, demand curve जो होगा it will increase, its demand will increase in the same manner because more consumers are being added. On contrary, when price of a commodity increases, so many consumers will either reduce or stop its consumption. This will lead to reduction in the demand curve. It's all about due to price effect. Then we have another important effect, that's income effect. When the income of a consumer increases, so he spends more, he buys more of the products, which increase the demand for the very product. Like, you know, when income increases, people buy luxuries, they buy more of the luxuries, or we can say they buy more of the luxurious products. So whenever income increases, there is more demand for the luxurious items. It is income effect. Or we can say whenever the price of a particular product like milk falls, so what is happening? For example, a particular consumer is buying milk at 50 rupees per liter. Now the milk is 40 rupees per liter, so he got benefit of rupees 10, so his income increases, then he can buy more of the very product. Then there is another thing that's called a substitution effect. It's very important effect. What are the substitutes? Substitutes are the commodities, or they are the goods which we can use instead of a particular product. With a fall in the price of a commodity, the price of the substitutes remaining same. If the price of the substitutes will remain the same, the consumers will buy more of this commodity rather than the substitutes, because they know, okay, they know there is increase in the price of the substitute good, so they can get more of the product. For instance, when the fall in price of a tea, the price of coffee being unchanged, the demand for tea will rise because they know that the substitute good is also available in the market, that's coffee. It's more, you know, expensive than tea, so they take advantage of reduction in the price. Then there is another very important thing, that is different uses of certain commodities. If a particular commodity has different uses, for example, we will take an example of electricity. Electricity has different uses, okay. When there is increase in electricity charges, power will be used primarily for domestic lighting, okay. But if the charges, electricity charges are being reduced, then obviously people will use more power for cooking, fans, heaters, there'll be more demand. So whenever the commodity has different uses, it affects the demand for the commodity. If you think that my work is nice regarding economics, so you can subscribe the EASYNOMICS channel, and you can also press the bell icon to get updates.